What can I help you with today? Saw the little guys in the window, thought I looked cool. You want to paint a free Space Marine? No thanks, man. I'm more of a fantasy guy, really. What are these guys? Are they like a troll or something? Do you want to enter a game? You can be Space Marines. No thanks, mate. So 140k starter set? No thank you, mate. But if you did do Space Marines, what Space Marines would you do? Probably not Space Marines, probably trolls?
Now listen here, you're going to buy Space Marines, and you're going to really like them. Because that's all we sell here, Space Marines, okay?
Trolls!
Space Marines.
It's me, your boy. Welcome back to Lizard of Doom. I am Max. Now I'm doing a sequel to my Ask Me Anything video that I did a month ago today when this is released. It was such a good video for the channel, so I thought I'd do it again. For those who didn't see the last one, I used to work in Games Workshop retail, and I let people ask me anything. Should have probably got the questions up before I sat down to do this. 1 minute. First question is from Iron. As a 20-year-old myself, how would you recommend I apply or ask my local GW store to work there? Because I am super interested in working there. It's difficult to go into your GW and ask for a job there. If the manager already knows you and likes you, then there is a chance that you'll be taken on as kind of the relief staff, as I was. But to get a job in a GW, you kind of have to go through the online rigmarole. You apply online on the website, as I did. I did apply to be a manager there, and then I got the interview. And what they do then is send you a train ticket all the way up to Nottingham. They pay for that. Pretty good G-dubs. And then the tram, they pay for that too. Then to head office. It's just standard kind of retail-y interview with kind of like 2 HR people. And then they will let you know in a day or two whether or not you got the job. But here's the kicker. There is no job. The job that you've applied for is a possible future job. You give them a list of what stores you believe that you could work in, like geographically or wherever you're willing to move, and they tell you when the job comes up. I waited a year whilst doing other work and then gave up on them. But I will warn you, it's very different working there than being a customer. You probably want to get into this because you love the hobby. It is a completely different thing when you work there. It is a job. It's not just messing around. A lot of it is messing around and it is fun, but it is a job and think of it as such before you go into it. Next question. This is from Pale Boy. I have one question. In Warhammer Universe, would owning a body pillow of the Emperor be considered heresy or not? I guess it depends what you do with it. Next question. This is another one about working in a store, and this is quite relevant, I think. This is from Nostalgia Vivek. Actually, I have a question. You're in the right place. Do you need to know how to play one of the games to work in the store? I haven't got back into learning the game yet, waiting for 10th ed. I've always assumed you do. You do not. It's not a requirement as part of the interview process. They do ask you if you like the hobby, but it's not a, like a marked question whether you like it or not. They judge you on you and if they think you'd be a good salesperson or manager or whatever you're going for. They don't judge you on hobby knowledge. However, it would be helpful for yourself if you were to get the job to know how to play because you're going to be doing intro games and events and stuff when you get there. So it would be helpful, yes. Is it necessary? No. Before I move on with the next question, I need to address something from the first Ask Me Anything. I said this about Australia and New Zealand. This is from Broke Dad Gamer on Reddit. Why does GW hate Australia and New Zealand? Now this is because when they design models, they have to then redesign them upside down, so when they post them around there, they're the right way up for you to play games with. I got a few comments about this, most of them enjoying the joke, some of them actually aggressive and calling me pathetic and threatening me. So I'm going to actually address this without joking, but first I need to enter Australia and New Zealand mode. So now you can see I'm in Australia and New Zealand mode. This is a UK model. As you can see, it's upside down. Now this is an Australia-New Zealand model. It is the correct way up. Okay? Problem solved. Next question. Did Duncan really fight everyone at lunchtime in the car park? That people need to know. Thank you, Atom Taylor. Yeah, mate, the man's a monster. He's undefeated. He is the final boss of Games Workshop. That's why they had to let him go. They couldn't contain him. So now he just roams the countryside outside of Nottingham looking for people to beat up. Next question. Interesting one. Jack Waddle asks, I've been wondering this for a while. How would you explain Slanesh to a child in the store? They're ladies with crab hands. That is it. That is all you say to a child in the store. Okay? Interesting side note about the demons thing. It can be a problem with a bit of satanic panic left over from D&D and parents and religious people not enjoying the demon kind of side of it. It's more of a problem when you do what I'm about to say. A manager, not me, a different manager I know, was asked one day when he was walking through the town centre on his way to work by a religious person handing out flyers to save his soul, "What do you do for a living?" And he said, "I sell demons to children." That wasn't the appropriate answer there. I understand that. He said it though. And then for a couple of months after that, every now and then, you'd be looking through the shelves in the local Games Workshop, and you'd move a box, and there would be a Bible. They came in every now and then and put Bibles behind boxes, maybe hoping to turn people to the good book rather than the rule book, but a bit strange. So maybe you don't tell religious people you sell demons to children, because they'll get you. Not a question but funny. Marcus Maximus says, when my friend was running a GW store, someone shouted, "Expensive Lego!" then ran off, lol. They're not wrong, I guess. An actual question now. From it's the alphabet backwards. You got me, it's the alphabet backwards. Why does so much young, fresh talent from GW suddenly all seem unemployed? I think this has got to do with what I said about it being a job. You've got to think of it as a job. People come into this because they love the hobby, and when the hobby turns into actual hard work, it's not for them. And as far as why so much young talent, maybe from head office, from the design team and everything, seem to go out the door quite quickly, it's because they haven't got the freedom that they would like. Again, they love the hobby and they want to create lovely lore for it, lovely art for it and stuff, but it's not what the company needs because it is a business. So as a creative, you don't get to produce the art that you want to produce. You have to produce the art that they want you to produce. And as a retail worker, you don't get to have the fun of just playing games and painting stuff all day in the store like you did if you were just a hobbyist there. So you've got to take that into account. It is work. This one is from Haha, You Read My Name. Did you ever have any problem customers? People with excessive backlogs, hoarders and the like. People you know you shouldn't really sell to, but didn't really have a choice in the matter. Yeah, there was one older gentleman who would come in and he would buy every new book, whether or not it was a codex, a Black Library book, every new book, every week. He also had a thing for wood elves, when they were wood elves before Sylvaneth and End Times. I didn't quite know how bad his hoarding was, and I had one of my armies on display in the window, which was a Sylvaneth tree-man army, all trees, no elves, and he offered to buy it from me, and he offered a price I couldn't say no to. It was my fully painted 2,000 point army. I didn't really play with it that much, and so I sold it to him. I then went to drop it off at his house. When I turned up at his house, it was floor to ceiling boxes, and there's me in the door with my box of trees. Did I want to give him that box? And then did I want to sell him more books afterwards? Because they're all still in the cellophane in his house. Not really. At the end of the day, it brought him joy, I guess. So it's a bit of a bittersweet thing. He loved having the stuff, but what impact did it have on his life? But who am I to judge as well? If this is the way this guy wants to live, who am I to judge? Let me know what you think about that. I did sell him the trees. I was there, and I was a student, so I needed the money. Should I have done that? Let me know what you think. This is one on last time I told nerds to wash their asses because we can't have you smelling up the stores. And I got a little bit of hate for that, but mostly people agreeing. Wash your ass. Yeah, you. This is from Anthony Lawton. Maybe GW should have showering facilities in the store and carry a range of towels and toiletries. Joking, not joking. I mean, they've started to sell scented candles. Maybe they're hinting too that you need to wash your goddamn ass.
Wash your ass, please. I'm begging you. We're all begging you. Please.
Next question. Why did GW destroy Warhammer Fantasy Battles? Warhammer Fantasy Battles was not being played. As someone who did play Warhammer Fantasy Battles, it was the first thing I got into in Warhammer. I really struggled to get a game. I had a Lizardman army, and I was into them. I was laser focused, ADHD. I love Lizardmen. I couldn't get one game. I would turn up to games night at Games Workshop at our local friendly gaming store. Not one table playing Warhammer Fantasy. Everyone playing 40k. And this had to kind of reflect in the sales, I guess. If everyone's playing 40k, no one's playing fantasy. Is anyone actually buying fantasy? The end times, I'm not going to say was a happy moment for me, because I built up all these armies. I thought the end times was going to be a new chapter of it, and people did start buying the books for that and getting the big models that came out for that. Well, I suppose we should have seen it coming. It was called the end times. But then Age of Sigmar dropped. And quite a lot of it, guys. I don't know if you know this, it's a bit of a secret, but it's the same models as fantasy. Age of Sigmar is infinitely more popular than Warhammer Fantasy Battles. I can get games now. I know people who play it. It's so much easier as someone who does love the fantasy side of the hobby to enjoy the fantasy side of the hobby. I used to turn up with 2,000 points of Lizardman and sit there watching 40 gay games? I used to turn up with 2,000 points of Lizardmen in a case and sit there watching 40k games, like... Robots, nice. But now I do like the robots too. I'm in now, I'm in any game system. I'll try it. Was it sad that they killed Warhammer Fantasy Battles? Yeah, the history, I get it, the fan base. Because it did have a die-hard fan base, just about 4 of them, and I was one of them. Is Age of Sigmar better for the fantasy community? I guess so. And you can always play kind of the knockoffs like Kings of War, and no one's come to your house and stolen your rulebooks from you. If you loved Warhammer Fantasy Battles and you still have the rulebook, you can play it. There's no rulebook police. So next week I'm back to my hobby content for at least 3 videos in a row. I will be making the mini diorama out of a box of junk. Where's my box of junk? This is my junk. Look at my junk, everyone. If you want to see that, give me a subscribe. I will be doing more of these, so give me more questions down in the comments. If there's anything you'd like to know, try and make it specifically about hobby retail and Games Workshop retail, because I didn't work at head office. People were confused last time. I worked retail. Get that out of here. Check out the other content on this channel. There's another one of these videos. There's a whole Chaos Knight diorama series. That mini diorama is going in the big diorama. Thank you to my Patreons. They're going to be here. And if you would like to support me on Patreon, as these lovely people have done, then the link will be up here. That is all from me today, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. Remember, it's not a pile of shame, it's a pile of future fun.